Today on Singles Court, Glenn's drumming, Martha's slumming.
She likes to come to my shows and hang out with my friends, but she never brings me out with her friends at all.
And now he's playing solo.
If it's just going to be all girls, then he obviously won't be invited.
You can't judge a punk by his lover.
I don't have a problem with people having a problem how I look. I'm fine with who I am and how I look.
And Cassandra's plugging the public loving.
We do it in the restaurant washrooms. We do it anywhere we are. I'm not afraid of my body.
But close encounters of a carnal kind have cooled Seth's passion.
She insists on opening the windows, raising the blinds, turning the lights on. We're gonna get arrested one of these days.
Listen,
Well, hello there, and welcome to Singles Court, the #1 show on the Singles Broadcast Network. And I'll show you the reason why. It's that lady right there, relationship mediator Angela Segal.
Show you the reason why? Are you just trying to say it's
Show me the honey. Show me the honey.
Oh, you are such a sucker.
Yes, I am. Okay, I could suck up all day, but we have to get down to business. In our studio today, we have a couple of singles. They are Martha and Glenn. Martha is a PR account rep, and Glenn is a drummer in a hardcore band.
Really?
Yes, and they met about 8 months ago at one of Glenn's gigs, and I guess Martha really dug the beat because they've been seeing each other since. However, Glenn has a bit of a complaint, and that's that he doesn't think Martha takes him seriously enough to introduce him to her friends. I call this the case of the absent friends or peer pressure.
Well, Glenn, it sounds like you have a problem with the fact that you don't really know any of her friends. So what's going on?
Well, it's culminated to a big problem now. I mean, 8 months of a relationship, you expect to meet people that are in the rest of your girlfriend's life. And so far, she likes to come to my shows and hang out with my friends, but she never brings me out with her friends at all. And
Never?
I never get invited.
Okay, that's not true. My parents just had a 30th anniversary party, and he came to that. And I have a friend, Sue, from work, and she comes to all the gigs with me all the time.
Okay, so he's met your one friend and 2 parents. That'd be 3 people.
Well, there was like a ton of people at the 30th anniversary
I've had more
party.
people at my house than for Thanksgiving. I mean, 3 people is not a lot.
Okay, but the main thing is that I work 9 to 5. I work every single day during the day, and he usually rehearses at night. So,
This is true.
I'm always going out with my friends at night, and I usually assume that he's working, so I just make plans.
See, that's the problem. She assumes and she makes plans, and she doesn't ask me, because we do have some kind of days off. Our schedules are different. I rehearse at night. She works during the day.
All the time.
But it's all right. When we have time off, we don't go out socially with her friends at all.
At the Christmas time, I had an office party at Christmas time, and he came to that, and then for like a week I had to listen to him complain about how boring and how corporate it was. So as if I'm going to keep asking him to come out with office people because...
Okay, well, I have a question. To this Christmas party, this office Christmas party, like, was he dressed like that?
Well, yeah.
Same hair?
Yeah.
That must have been interesting.
Yeah.
Did you have a problem with, I mean, obviously, not to pass judgment on you, but if someone walked into a corporate Christmas party wearing a Christmas tree on their head.
They'd start hanging bulbs and tinsel on him.
It has to draw some attention.
Okay,
I understand. I look different from a lot of other people. People have a problem with how I look. I don't have a problem with people having a problem how I look. I'm fine with who I am and how I look. So, and I figure that someone that's dating me shouldn't have that problem.
Another thing is
but what happened let's just talk about the Christmas party. Because I think you have to be realistic. You work for a corporation.
Yeah.
He walks into the Christmas party looking like that. Mm-hmm. So tell me about the atmosphere or what happened.
Well, I don't...
Did they not
fine.
care?
It's just that
Did
he
anybody
thinks
say
that sort of thing is boring because it's so corporate.
So you have a problem with
I want to make another point about... I went to an all-girls school, and it was a private school, so I have a ton of girlfriends, and we're always going out, just the girls. So I'm always going out with girlfriends, and I mean, if it's just going to be all girls, then he obviously won't be invited.
Well,
and so but he's always complaining.
That doesn't sound that doesn't make sense to me. I'm sorry, it doesn't.
It's always girls.
What is it? What
okay,
about?
But I mean, I went to an all-girls school.
Okay,
most of my friends are girlfriends.
But you're not in school anymore. Okay,
I know,
you're out of school and you have a real job and a real life. Okay, so that doesn't hold water. When you are doing your normal everyday activities, why don't they include him?
Well, I don't know.
You don't know.
She knows about excuses. Is all she knows about.
Okay, but I'm always with him when he's at his gigs and stuff.
No,
I always
but
bring
what
my
he's saying is
friend Sue.
No, Sue, boo-hoo. What he's saying is that he's not getting the same thing from you. He's saying, I've introduced you to my friends, you've been to my band gigs, I know Sue and your two parents. Mm-hmm. And you're trying to tell me that that's all you have in your life. Everybody else came from your all-girls school.
And it's not true because I know she goes out.
Even if it is true, it doesn't make sense.
But she always goes out on the days that she knows I have something to do and I have somewhere I have to be. That's when she goes out with mixed company. It's not the girls' night out that night. It's always with mixed company.
If he has something, as if I make plans to go out with mixed company just when you've got something going on.
Martha, here's my question. Here's my question, okay? It's been 8 months.
Yeah.
The fact that you've only introduced him to 3 people versus his lots of people that he's introduced you to. Mm-hmm. Call me crazy, but the scales are tilted. You need to help me understand. You went to the all-girls school and your parents paid good money. Mm-hmm. Help me understand how you level it out.
Well,
see, she can't, because all she has is excuses and all these things that she makes up.
It's not excuses. It's never excuses.
I want to know the truth. I want to know why she's not bringing me out.
Why do you think? Take a wild guess.
After all this time, I'm starting to feel a bit unwanted when I never get asked out to come with her friends, which makes me feel bad. But however, I also, maybe I'm thinking in the back of my mind that maybe she's flirting with someone, she's got a crush on someone that goes out in this mixed company. She doesn't want me to bring me along because I'm not going to meet him and find out what's going on. Like, I don't know.
So back to my question, because you gave me like 2 different things, I guess, that you're thinking of. One, you think she may be having a relationship with somebody else or be flirting with somebody else.
Okay,
And wait a minute. And the other was what?
Just that I feel left out, just in general. Just the whole point. I mean, both points are the same.
I think I fell asleep in between the two.
Right.
Okay, but so those are his 2 reasons. Mm-hmm. So you answer to that.
Well, there is no way that I am seeing anybody else. I love him so much. I am so true to him. And there would just be, I'm not that kind of person. I don't know if you have girlfriends maybe that you hang out with or those kind of people, but that's not me at all.
Okay, so that's not you, so you wouldn't do that.
No,
okay.
I wouldn't.
So now we know you wouldn't do it. We've established that. So you're this wonderful, upstanding person. So we're back to the same point.
Why?
How come he hasn't met any of your friends?
Why?
Well,
does this feel like, am I on a merry-go-round or what?
Yeah, it keeps
my
going
friends,
like this.
Everybody is just very conservative. And
so?
Well,
what does that mean?
My mom wanted me to marry a doctor. Okay. And so she was always drilling it into my head that I should marry a doctor or a lawyer.
But you introduced him to your parents. They seemed to like him.
Okay, but when my friends found out that I was dating a drummer, they all thought it was a joke, and everybody was laughing. Obviously, they weren't impressed. And my mom, he's like the opposite of a
See, this is all a load. This is all a bull that she's laying in because
it is.
I just don't think that they would understand. I don't think that maybe they would understand. I'm a liberal-minded person. They're just not. They're not as liberal-minded as I am.
Maybe they're not. She says this, but she mentioned before. She brought me along to the 30th anniversary party of her parents. I sat in the corner and talked to her dad for 3 hours about how he used to play drums in the military. The man knows so much about drums you would never know. He says he thinks I have guts for following my dream and my career path, and he wishes he could have done that.
Okay,
so your dad has no problem with me.
Okay, I know that, and I never said that you didn't get along with my dad.
Explain to me, because you're giving me a bunch. I mean, he called it bull. I'm going to be a little nicer and call it fertilizer. I don't get it. I do not get it. You're sitting here giving me all these reasons of why everybody else thinks this, that, or the other. What do you think?
I don't see the reason for throwing people together that just obviously won't mix. I'm fine with it. I'm fine with the way he dresses. I love him. I love that he's not your stereotypical rock and roller guy.
No, you love to have him at your whim when you want to, but when it comes to the reality of living the life, you don't want to live it.
She doesn't want to share the relationship.
I don't want to put him through the embarrassment.
You have your nose so high in the air. I hope it doesn't rain because you'll drown. I'll be back with my resolution. No one wants to be in a relationship where they're hidden. Martha, you knew what you were getting. There was no surprise here. You met him in the band. He had the same hairstyle, same look. There was no surprise at all. Truth of the matter is, you blame the fact that you don't want to introduce him to other people on your conservative family and friends, when in reality, it's you. You're the one that has a problem with it. You just don't want to admit it. You have a problem with the way he looks, and this is the man you say you love. You know, Glenn, you obviously marched to your own drum, and that's fine. More power to you. But you have to realize that Martha wants to keep you on the DL, and in layman's terms, that means the down low. What that does is gives her a form of control. She can control where you go, who sees you, and what you do. Now, That does not make a recipe for a very good relationship. You know, relationships require the inclusion of both partners in our everyday lives, not secrets. Both people have to be included in what we do on a day-to-day basis. In this situation, I would say that the relationship is pretty much over, because unless you're willing to change the idea that that's the man you love, that's what you got from the beginning, and that's what you end up in the end, then when it's all said and done, the last drum beat is going to drown out the last heartbeat. And that's that in black and white.
Next on Singles Court, Cassandra's plugging the public loving.
It's the only thing that makes me happy. I can't do it with the lights, off and the door closed.
But close encounters of a carnal kind have cooled Seth's passion.
Something that turns me on, and I
It
don't
just
get
seems to
turned
be
on.
the only
having it in
way
closed
she has
places.
to have it. It's all about her.
Singles Court is back with the Queen of Extremes, the Queen of Contrast, Angela Segal.
Here, there, everywhere.
You are right here, though. And also right here in our studio, we have two singles with a problem. And that's why they're here, to see you, or else there wouldn't be any reason.
That's right.
So let me explain it.
Please
We
do.
have Seth, who is a government health inspector, and Cassandra, who is a cosmetic specialist. Now, they have a happy, healthy relationship and have for about a year now, except for one thing. Cassandra insists on having sex in public places, and at first Seth indulged this fantasy or fetish or whatever you want to call it, but it's getting to be a bit of a chore for him. So I call this the case of only you, only in public.
Well, Cassandra, you have to admit that's a little different, let's say, having sex in public places.
Well, it's the only way I work, Angela. I mean,
Work.
it's the only thing that makes me happy. I can't do it with the lights, off and the door closed. And
Well, let me make sure I understand you correctly in terms of when you say public. When you say public, do you mean like in the park with everybody watching? Do you mean in public places? What do you mean?
We do it in the restaurant washrooms. We do it in anywhere we are, any department
Angela,
store
can I-
washrooms. I mean, we, in the car. I mean,
Angela, let me just.
It was never a problem for Seth before. I don't know what. I
So
don't
it's
know what
always
his problem
it's something
is.
you always required. Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
Can I start off by saying that Cassandra is one of the most beautiful, vibrant, energetic, sexy women I've ever met
you
in my
ain't
life.
lying. She's
and she
vibrant.
brought so much fun into my life.
Yeah, I bet.
And she has a very healthy sexual appetite.
There is nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, I know there's nothing wrong with that, but this having it in public all the time, it's getting
Let's
sick.
clarify.
He never had a problem with it before.
Well, let's clarify all the time. Would all the time mean every single time you've ever
Every
had?
single time we've had sex.
And you don't
and
say
it wasn't a problem before.
So if you're at home watching a movie together and you're starting to feel a little frisky, you gotta run to the corner store?
Not necessarily. We just,
No, then we
make sure a
retired
window is
to
open
we retired
or-
to one of our bedrooms where she insists on opening the windows,
What's the
raising the
problem with
blinds, turning the lights on. We're gonna get arrested one of these days.
Listen, I am not afraid of my body
Okay,
or people
God.
seeing us.
Well,
There
but-
is nothing wrong with it.
Okay, well, if there's nothing wrong with it, why do you get such a thrill out of it? That's a question.
Well, the thrill I get comes from the fact that he can't control it. I am in control.
Oh,
I will always be in control, and that's the way it's going to be
can't
set.
control it.
I don't understand. I mean, you all are just like freaking me out. So you have to really explain to me because call me old-fashioned or stupid, but I
Listen,
really don't get it.
Listen, I'm not afraid of
Of
my
what?
body.
What
of
would it
my
be?
body, of people seeing us.
Well, then why don't you get a
I-
contract with Playboy? I don't understand why you have to have sex in public because you're not afraid of your body.
Well, because it's
Just-
something that turns me on, and I
It
don't
just
get
seems to
turned
be
on
the
having
only
it in
way
closed
she has to
places.
have it. It's all about her. It's
Well, it sounds
not-
like that. But in her defense, you knew what you were getting. It's always been like that.
Yes, it
So
has
at what
been.
point did you
I
think
don't
it would
understand.
change?
When this relationship progressed that one step further, we've
What
been
would
like
that
I
one
said.
step be? Outside in the mall? I mean, what is the
No.
one step?
Okay, once the physical part of the relationship came into play,
Which
you
was
know,
what? How soon was that?
that
In the beginning. So I
Like,
don't understand.
Let's define beginning. Like, did you all meet in the, you're a health inspector. Did you meet when he was inspecting the meat and the next thing you know, you were in the meat?
I mean,
what
within
happened?
the first couple of weeks that we met, I approached Seth on the job,
Yeah,
and
I
he
was-
didn't have a problem with it.
I was.
So you all had
on-
sex at that moment?
Yes, we did.
Yes.
So the relationship
and-
really was based on public sex
Yes,
from the
and
beginning?
He knew.
The first couple
He
of
knew.
times, it was fun. and I enjoyed it. I got a great big kick out of it, but it became tired and twisted, and it turns into something ugly.
Well, to me, it started out there. Cassandra, please explain to me why it must be in this public environment, window open, skylight. Why?
Because I must be in control, and Seth knows
Why do
that
you
I
think
must
you're
be
in control? I don't understand
I
that.
need to be in control.
But why do you think you are? Because I don't
I
understand.
am in control. I can control Seth. If
What
I
are you
can control where
controlling?
and when.
Why is
Seth
it
and
about
I have
control,
sex.
Cassandra?
Because I will not ever let anybody control me ever
But
again.
how is that? I don't understand why you think that's control with the window open.
It is.
What are you controlling?
Men are possessive. You should know that.
What are you
God.
controlling, though? That's
I
what I
am controlling
understand.
Seth. I am controlling every man that I have ever been with. If I can, if
And you're
if
getting
I
a
can
great
have-
big kick out of this, aren't
Yes,
you?
I do.
Oh
I don't
my
see what
God.
control you think you have, because by having the window open, what does that do?
Listen,
besides get wind on your butt.
men are possessive, and all the men that I have ever come in contact with have tried to
Not
possess
me.
me.
Not me.
So your answer to that is having sex in public places?
Yes, if I can control where and when we have sex, I know that I am in control,
Oh
and that he will never, ever possibly try and control me.
Have I ever tried?
Who has tried? Because obviously you have this.
Very many men before have tried.
Well, maybe you picked the wrong many men.
Well,
I mean, did that ever occur to you?
No, it hasn't, because I know that all men are incredibly possessive, okay?
Really?
Yes, they are.
Okay, and what do you call it when you call the shots about where they have sex and when?
Listen, I will never allow myself to be ever controlled again. Never. Never, ever.
You're
Ever.
turning this into something ugly.
Do you see?
Listen,
You're turning,
I
you're
was
turning
in a
an expression of
relationship-
love into something.
I was in a relationship in which someone tried to control me for a very long time. He controlled where we went, what we ate, when we ate, where we lived, when we had sex, how we had sex.
Okay.
And I refuse,
So
I
you-
repeat, refused to ever have that happen again.
Okay, so your answer to that, I guess I'm missing something. I can feel you on the pain. Been there, I've been in the same situation. I know what you're saying. But I don't understand the answer. See, I got out and found a better relationship. You got out and I don't understand, and then you found sex in the mall.
No.
I'm
See,
missing something.
So what you're missing is, what I do is I basically test them.
Oh.
The test is,
Get your paper out.
Yeah, I want to make sure I pass this one.
the test is, as long as the men can go along with what I want to do, I always know that I can control them. And until they can understand that this is the way I'm going to be and I'm not going to change, the next one will have to step up and take his turn.
You know what?
Yes,
That is
it
the
is.
dumbest thing I ever heard in my life. And you know,
Excuse me?
I'm sorry, that's right. I come out and tell you, even before I go to the resolution, that is dumb. Because you're telling me that you're controlling them, but how are you controlling them? You're using sex as a way that you think of control. That's not the same thing.
Absolutely is. If he can understand that this is the way I'm in, I'm not going to change, he'll have to understand that this is it or nothing. Another one can step up.
So is that
It
all
is
I
my
am to
turn.
you? A test?
You know what?
I'm
This is out of control.
A lab mouse?
It's out of control. I'm going to resolution. Open the window.
Oh, yeah. Turn on the light.
You know, control is a goal that few people admit, and amazingly, you had no problem admitting it. Seth, you got more than you bargained for, didn't you? You knew who you were getting involved with.
Yes,
She
I
did
did.
tell you right from the very beginning.
Yes, she did.
And I think you sort of hoped that you could take it from that to a higher level when it started in the gutter, and that's where it was going to stay, in the gutter.
Yeah.
Cassandra, you keep telling me about control and control through sex. And you know, the sad part is that you don't realize what you're exhibiting is the lack of self-control, that you're not really controlling anything. And the most important thing is you're not controlling you, which is truly who we should be concerned with, ourselves. You know, sex changes the complexion of every relationship. This relationship started out with a big blemish right from the very beginning. The sad part is when you look at what's supposed to be an intimate act and you've taken it and turned it into a public act only on your terms, you're talking about a very one-sided relationship. Seth, I suggest that you find someone who has common desires, goals, and interests with you. That's what a good relationship is made of. That's what you need to do. Cassandra, you on the other hand, have to look at the fact that you've built up walls. You have a lot of issues and you've built up walls and said, no one is allowed to love me through these walls. I am the one who's the most important here. I don't care about anybody else. I just care about me. And as you built these walls up, everyone that wants to love you has to get through those walls. So what I suggest you do is the next time you want to do something in public, run to a public telephone, get a public telephone book, and call a public therapist. You need help. And that's that in black and white.
Well, there it is. When it comes to relationships, well, if you want to rock, you better learn how to roll too, because it's a package deal. And if you're going to take the stage and wait for the lights to come up and the curtain to open, you better be prepared to share that stage as well. Join us next time here at Singles Court, the final word for singles.